Betty Bayo was more than a voice. She was a mother, a daughter, a friend, and a beacon of hope for thousands. Her song touched hearts, her presence inspired, and her life, though private, carried a story of resilience. But on a quiet day in November 2025, that story came to a sudden death. Shocking end. Betty Bayo passed away, leaving behind grief, unanswered questions, and two young daughters whose world would change forever. This is the story of Betty Bayo, the secrets she held, the silence that surrounded her, and the life that followed after her death. Betty Bayo's life was a tapestry of music, faith, and love. She rose to prominence in gospel music, captivating audience with her soulful voice and heartfelt lyrics. Every song carried a message, a hope in despair, light in darkness, and courage in struggle. But Betty's life was not only defined by her music, she was a devoted mother, a fierce protective of her children, and deeply committed to her family. To the outside world, she appeared strong, vibrant, and full of life. Yet, like many, she carried battles in silence, battles that few were aware of, and that she chose to face privately. In the months leading up to her death, Betty fought a battle with leukemia, a reality known only to a few close friends. She chose not to share her illness with the public, keeping her pain privately, even as she continued to perform, care for her children, and maintain the life she had built. Her sudden passing shocked everyone, friends, fans, and family alike. There were no warnings, no farewells, only the sudden absence that left a void in the hearts of all who loved her. It was a silence that spoke volumes of strength, of dignity, of a woman determined to protect her children from worrying until the very end.
Good afternoon. Praise God. Praise God again. This is my tribute to my mom. The last thing that I have to say here. We all gather here to remember and see the woman we all once loved, Betty Bayo, simply known to me as Mom. I know that my mother is no longer with me anymore, and I won't have the privilege to make any more memories but I believe we'll meet again, and that the same woman who changed the Kenyan gospel industry will also change my life. We've been through so much that the public eye doesn't see. The haters might jump into conclusions after slight misconceptions, not knowing how much practice and dedication she puts to give Kenya the best quality of her work. My mother had a lot of hopes and dreams for me. She wanted me to reach heights that are unimaginable. The moment she saw the talent, she tried to embrace and nurture no matter what the crowd said. She was the only one who truly believed in me and knew there was something in me. The only thing I can promise her now is that with or without her, I will accomplish all the awards we talked about, even dedicate them all to her. Never in my mind did death come across my mind when she got that sickness. Nothing major has ever happened in my life, so death seemed so unreal. As some of you know, my mother is very strong, and the sickness started with small headaches, and after that it got so severe she had to go to a small hospital nearby our house. The rest is too painful to explain, but my mother was in severe pain, yet she tried to smile for us. I remember the words I told her like it was yesterday. I told her that when we saw her in AAR, she came out with on a hospital bed, like tubes all around her mouth and nose. And I only saw her for like 2 minutes because like there were so many people there. But then I forced myself into the ambulance to like talk to her alone. I told her that we miss her and we love her, and it's so sad to come back home to not see your mom there anymore because she's sick in the hospital. I used to come to school telling myself when I come back home I'll see mom. You know, she used to have a favorite like spot where she would sit down. So I would always imagine come back home and see her there. But I never saw her. I never saw her. But she wasn't able to talk back. She wasn't able to move, but tears ran down her cheeks and tried her best. She tried her best to talk back and tell me things, but she wasn't able to tell me. It's hard to see your mother on a hospital bed with many tubes coming in and out of her mouth. Of her mouth and trying to fight for her life. The day I got pulled out of school and was told my mother wanted to visit me, I had high hopes thinking they were ready to tell me she's ready to leave, but that was not the case. But that was the day my mother was no more. It was 10th November 2025, which was last week. It's not easy, but I'll try my best to stay strong for my little brother Danny and everyone around us. Rest in peace, Mom. We love you.
After Betty's passing, the focus turned into her 2 children. Those lives were suddenly thrust into uncertainty. 2 men became center of the story. Tash, her husband at the time of her death, and Pastor Victor Kanyari, her former husband and the biological father to her children. Tash, visibly emotional, stood beside the children at the memorial, expressing his desire to care for them and protect their future. Rumors swirled online about a will, a document that might have indicated Betty's wishes for her daughters. Yet no official confirmation of such a will ever surfaced. Pastor Kanyari, while under intense public scrutiny, also stepped forward, ascertaining his role as the father of the children and expressing his commitment to their well-being. The public watched as both men navigated their grief, their responsibility, and the weight of legacy, while the children stood silently at the center of the story, far bigger than themselves. The day of Betty Bayo's funeral was a mix of profound sorrow and public fascination. Thousands attended, from friends and fans to church committees and colleagues. The children, young and bewildered, were surrounded by a sea of mourners, all united in grief, yet caught in a silent tension. As the ceremony unfolded, subtitled gestures told stories beyond the words spoken. Family members guided movements, positioned themselves with the children, and spoke with care and restraint. Every moment, every glance seemed changed with emotions and unspoken decision. The world watched, but no one could truly grasp the private heartbreak of 2 little girls losing their mother in such a public moment. Betty Bayo left behind more than grief. She left a legacy, a life of love, music, and inspiration. And yet, her passing also left an unanswered question. How could her children grow up without her guiding hand? Who would shape their lives in the years to come? Rumors continued to swell online. Whispers of wills, of property, of decisions yet to be made. But beyond the speculation, the truth remained simple and heartbreaking. The two young girls had lost their mother, and their world would never be the same. Her legacy, however, endures. In her music, in the heart of all those touched, and in the enduring love of people who surrounded her children. At the heart of this story are children. Their lives have been marked by love, but also by sudden absence of their mother. In every glance, in every quiet moment, their grief is palpable. They are now navigating a world where decisions are being made on their behalf by adults, by the public, by circumstances. Yet they carry their mother's memory with them. Every note of her song, every story told by the family and friends is a reminder of a woman who loved them fiercely and left them to the world a little too soon. Betty Bayo's story is one of light and shadow, of joy and loss, of music and silence. Her death brought sorrows to thousands, yet her life continues to inspire. The secret she held, the secret she maintained, and the fight that followed her passing reminds us of the life that is fragile. Love is powerful and legacy is eternal. As her children grow, as her fans remember her songs, and as the world reflects on her life, the truth remains clear. Betty Bayo will not be forgotten. And though she has gone, her story, full of emotion, depth, and heart, will live on in every tone she sang, every life she touched, and every soul she inspired. I'm Kiki for Kenya Waves.